Okay, so got a video here of one of my lessons down at Betchworth Park with one of my clients here, Peter. A couple of interesting things going on with the way Peter was swinging it and his ball flight that I just want to point out here. So take it back, Peter has a good backswing, gets into some good positions, but then he has a tendency on his downswing just to get the club a bit too much out in front of him. You see here, tends to get it sort of quite steep, and then if we stop the club and it's parallel to the ground, we can see the butt end of the club pointing to the left, so that's a good indication Peter would have an out to win swing path through impact, or so you would think. That can then that out to win path could then potentially cause some pulls to the left or curvature to the right and some slices depending on where the club face would be at impact. But this wasn't the case with the shots Peter was hitting. With swinging this way, Peter was consistently hitting perfectly straight shots. So the ball was going right, starting right where he's aiming, flying straight with no curvature, and finishing on the target where he's aiming. And the reason that was happening was because he was hitting down on the ball so much. And that is the effect that the D plane can have. Now, I think that the D plane is quite a complex thing to get your head round, and there's definitely more sort of to it than this. But for me, the simplest way to understand it and how I see it affecting the sort of more recreational type golfers is that, simply put, the more you hit down on it, the more your swing path will be to the right, and the more you hit up on the ball, the more your swing path will be to the left, assuming that you get a good centered strike on the ball. So just to try and explain that, if we draw some lines here just to try and simplify things, so this would be a perfectly straight or into square to win club swing path. This here would be a swing path to the left, so out to win, essentially swinging to the left through impact, and this here would be a swing path that's in to out, so essentially swinging to the right through impact. Now, when we're talking about swing path, we're talking about the direction that the club is travelling in immediately before, during and after impact. But when we take into account the angle of attack, and we look at exactly where the club is travelling at the exact point of impact, you could call that true swing path, or if you're on TrackMan, that would be club path. But as I say, that takes into account the angle of attack. So simply put, yes, it looks like Peter is swinging to the left, and he is swinging to the left. We can see here clearly the butt end of the club is pointing to the left, but because he's hitting down on the ball quite a lot, and because he's getting a centered strike, what that does, that makes his path more out to the right. So because he's hitting down on it at the point of impact, that makes his path more out to the right, which actually gives him a neutral path. He has his club face square to that path, and that's what allows him to hit those straight shots. So hopefully that's just quite a simple explanation of the D plane there and how it can affect a lot of golfers. In this lesson we were trying to get Peter a bit more inside, but that was just to try and get a bit of a shallower angle of attack and compress the ball a little bit more to get more distance. It wasn't necessarily from a directional point of view, because as I say, he was hitting nice straight shots. So hopefully you found that video useful. For more videos, tips, reviews, you can follow me on Twitter at RCGolfPro. Thanks for watching.